After 2 weeks away and another day on top of that, we are back. Hello, everybody. I am JW97 and welcome to the practice session here for the Monaco Grand Prix, the first of two crown jewel races this season for the OC. As I've mentioned earlier, my name is JW97 and I'm joined today by Dennis Graff. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing great, and it's great to be back for the OC.
Is indeed. The weather forecast is on your screen. It's going to be a bright and sunny day here for practice. And yeah, I think we can get underway. I don't think there's any test drivers to report, if I'm not mistaken, unless somebody put in a request. Okay, we just got that confirmed by Yuri. No test drivers. It's just going to be the main drivers. So let's get cracking with practice, and then we'll talk about some stuff. So first of all, guys, I hope you're all doing very okay. I'd like to say to everybody, a Happy New Year, and I hope you had a very good Christmas and New Year. But I hope you got everything you wanted, of course. Did you have a very good 2-week break, Dennis?
Yeah, it was very nice to spend time with family. Of course, switching to 2022. Yeah.
Dennis cut out there halfway through. So,
We have fun.
There we go. His voice came back there just as I was speaking. But anyway, we are here for practice. Now, again, we are using the 1993 version of Monaco. We were originally meant to trial a new version of Monaco, but due to reasons that I think you all know by now, with Yuri being a day late because of the work schedule that he had yesterday, which saw him at work for, oh God, how long was he at work for? A very long time, it's fair to say.
15 and a half hours. Holy moly.
Was there 15 and a half hours he was at work. Very, very shattering.
Sontag's on track.
Felix Sontag is the first man out on track here for the first stream of 2022 for the OC, and we're getting an outboard shot of Felix Sontag right now. Of course, this was meant to happen, of course, yesterday, but of course, as mentioned, due to Yuri's workload, of course, due to it being snow season in Finland, it had to be pushed back to Wednesday, which of course has meant that Formula E has had to be pushed back until, well, a fortnight's time, really, because of course next week we have the Indy 500, and usually Formula E doesn't happen during the Indy 500. Now, for anybody who's wondering about the driver allowance for the Indy 500, they should come out at some point this week, so be aware of that. And yeah, should be pretty. Should hopefully be an exciting race. Of course, last season's race was pretty entertaining towards the end. So who knows really if we're going to get something similar this time. By Felix Sontag makes his way through to back and then into the swimming pool complex of corners, which is surrounded by barriers. As mentioned, we were meant to test a new version of Monaco. Hopefully, we will get that version next season, of course. And of course, this year, a very exciting year for the OC because it will mark the first year of the Fantasy era, the highly anticipated Fantasy era, which should come around May time. And a lot of exciting things coming along, including, of course, this year, we will be finding out the identity of the 11th team that will be making its debut from next season. That should be coming up very, very soon indeed, so be on the lookout for an announcement on when that announcement's going to happen at some point in the future. And that was too many announcements in one sentence there, I do apologise. Now Felix Sontag, as we're looking at here, just came out of the first sector, 23.782 for the German in the first sector. And hello to everybody who's just joined in the chat. Hello Fong Shanak, hello Shafari, hello Chris, hello pretty much everybody else who's in the stream chat right now as we speak. As Sontag comes into the tunnel, as he will now make his way down towards the seafront chicane now then. Of course, here at Monaco, we know that the challenge here is quite hard to overtake. Not impossible, because we have seen some bold moves being done over the last couple of years on this version, but they have been quite a rarity, it's fair to say. But of course, because this track is mainly down to strategy, of course, qualifying could be important, but given how close the midfield has been this season, and in fact given that 2 races this season we've had 2 midfielders win a race, that being Jake Galloway and George Roke, who knows really, this could be a big opportunity for the midfield teams to spring up a very big upset, you'd have to say, Dennis.
Yeah, everything can happen here. So like I said the first time, 1:14.0. Yeah, as I said, of course there's a lot of strategy that could be the key here, and also good qualifying position is absolutely crucial. So yeah, but still anything can happen.
And of course, with it being the new year, one thing that doesn't change in the stream chat is spammers, of course. Thank you, Franco, for dealing with that spammer. But we're getting some more lap times here. George Roke is in 1 minute 12.989 as De Rosa now goes fastest, of course. Oh, Roke's crashed!
Oh, wow.
Roke is at a crash. Was at the top for a little bit, has now crashed at the same corner where Laura Chong and Miklos Gao crashed last season, which caused a little bit of drama. I don't know if this is going to cause drama this time but a crash here, courtesy of George Roke. And speaking of Laura Chung, she's actually gone up into second place. One of the drivers who did make a mistake there last season. But George Roke has binned it into the wall. The barrier's catching its first victim, and he'll have to climb into the T-car if he wants to continue for the remainder of the session. So that's really as Roke's car has now been cleared, and he should be back on track very, very soon indeed. And so we're going to take a look at a replay, in fact, of the mistake from George Roke. And once we get to his car, of course, it happened quite a while ago, didn't it? As now we're with George Roke, let's see what happened then. I think it was probably just a simple lockup, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, let's see. It goes to Casino Square.
Who knows? Maybe some of that Christmas turkey may be affecting George Roke there. I bet he's still full of it from the off season. But anyway,
good one.
Yeah. So as now George Roke has obviously, as we've just mentioned, binned it in the wall, but he should be out in the T-car very soon. I did see his car in the garage, so he should be out pretty quickly indeed. Maybe he did probably did the Naruto one back to the pits to get there that quickly. So that's that. As now Laura Chung makes her way down towards I keep forgetting the corner name for that corner. It's Portier. That's it. She's now she's now into the tunnel, and she's currently holding up one of the Mercedes drivers at this point in time. Not sure which Mercedes it is, to be honest. It's definitely not a pink Mercedes. I can tell you that one for a fact. And it looks like Armar Car because it's a red helmet.
Yeah,
of course, Armar Car, of course, coming into this week with quite a bit of momentum going into the winter break, of course, as he obviously won last time out in Spain, as he looks to try and close back down that deficit between himself and teammate Franco Lopez. Of course, he lost out on a lot of points in Germany and Portugal for various reasons, and he obviously clawed some of them back in Spain, but he needs to try and claw back some more, especially here at Monaco, where Franco Lopez, of course, is looking for redemption. Let's not forget, he was supposed to win here last season, was Franco Lopez. He looked so in control at the front, and then, of course, what happened? He got caught up in some traffic, ended up losing his front wing, and Armar Car took the initiative and took the lead with a handful of laps to go. In kind of a similar situation to what Felix Sontag was in back in 2008, when he lost the win with a handful of laps to go to Joseph Willows. Obviously, Franco Lopez will be determined to try and not have a repeat this season. But yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see if Lopez gets some redemption here this season, Dennis.
Yeah, of course. I think the Mercedes is looking, well, at the moment it's still close to say Lopez. At the moment it's P11, but still the beginning of practice. The Mercedes seem to be the favorite here as well. You have Lopez who will beat this. Yeah.
Currently P11 at the moment, and he's coming back into the pits this time by, and should be. Well, he's up on his personal best there in the first sector, but it's not going to really matter because he's coming back into the pits, and he might have to try again a little bit later. Here is Chris Chatfield. Obviously had quite a good outing in Spain last time out, which was 3 weeks ago. So Chris Chatfield now then, out on the racetrack he goes, as he makes his way around through Casino Square to the left, and then into the right-hander he will go. And getting as close to those walls as possible. You don't want to get too close because those barriers have teeth, in the words of Jim Rosenthal back in 2005. So that's now going.
Before.
Well, it's ITV. I wouldn't expect you to know that, Dennis, because that was who was broadcasting F1 back in 2005.
I know.
In fact, it's a little bit of my childhood, to be honest. ITV. It was the first channel I watched Formula One, to be honest, because I started watching it in 2000, the fourth year of when ITV had the contract. So, bit of nostalgia there for me. Anyway, here is Evan Byrne, who's just finished a lap, which was down his personal best. Currently in 8th position behind Daniel Fraser. Daniel Fraser currently having a good session, must be said, but how much of that is down to traffic, which we know is probably going to be a big thing, especially in Q1 for these guys. It might even get as far as to maybe having a shock knockout in Q1, perhaps, given how much traffic can play with your lap around here in Monaco, as Gomez getting very close to his teammate there, who was going out the pits. His teammate, of course, being Andrea Vaderi. Gomez, of course, also coming here with momentum because he did score points last time out in Spain. And I think it's very surprising, to be fair. I think it's been very surprising to see Alfa score this many points this season, given that we didn't expect much from them going into when we saw from pre-season testing.
Yeah, we expected them to beat Haas, Williams and Manor, but they did score good points more than once, which is very surprising. Yeah, let's hope for them that they will keep their momentum going.
Yep, we're looking to continue that indeed, especially now that if you'd have to say maybe currently got the edge on Federi at the moment. I think he's currently ahead of him in the championship, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's been 3 weeks. I haven't even checked what the championship even looks like. It's been that long. But I do believe Gomez is actually ahead of Federi in the championship, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, Byrne now then goes around the Casino Square and was down on his personal best again on that lap, as he's got one of the Manos currently behind him at this point in time. As George Rogue, I'm trying to see where he is. He is currently out on track. He is in the spare car. I think that's actually him right behind at the moment. Behind Miklos Gau is currently getting stuck behind one of the McLarens. Now, could that be Kirishima De Rosa, who currently, surprisingly, is at the top of the time issues? Of course, a few seasons ago, De Rosa sprung a surprise, it must be said, when he got his first ever podium finish here back in 2018. Could history repeat itself here, given how we know the strategies tend to work around here in Monaco? Who knows, really? And I've realised the McLaren in front is not actually De Rosa, it's actually Joseph Willows, who is really desperate to hope that the win to break has served him well. He'll be hoping to, at least anyway, because he's come off the back of some very disappointing races as Joseph Willows, and he'll be looking to make hopefully redeem himself in this remainder of the season. And given that someone likes to call him a fraud a lot, and I thought that given the new year that this person would, for make a New Year's resolution, maybe try and reduce the amount of times he says fraud, but clearly not, and clearly he hasn't reduced the amount of memes he keeps posting. So moving on, yeah. For anybody who's just joined us and is still a little bit confused about why this is happening today rather than yesterday, it is because Yuri, of course, had a massive workload yesterday because it is snow season in Finland and was at work for approximately 15 hours. So that's why the qualifying and practice is happening today and the race is happening tomorrow at 5 p.m. GMT, hence why we've not got Formula E this week either. And I can promise you for a fact, as somebody speculated yesterday in Discord, but I can assure you for a fact, it's got nothing to do with a certain keyboard that got thrown over a balcony. If anybody is on the OC Discord, then you will know what we are talking about. I'm not going to go through it any further than that, because if it was a keyboard-related issue, how do you think we're able to stream today? So, anyway, as moving away from that, as Evan Byrne just now comes up towards Raskas now then. And so now coming around the final corner of Anthony Nodes as he now makes his way down the pitch straight. I don't think Byrne is going to improve, but let's see. And no, we won't see because we're going to flip to Rosetta Martinez, in fact. And he now makes his way down towards Portier now then before making his way into the tunnel. Currently 2 tenths up on his personal best in the first sector is Rosetta Martinez. And it's fair to say this season Rosetta has probably got to be one of the most unluckiest drivers in the OC, given how many times he's retired this season. I think he's retired from 5 of the last 7 races, including that big accident, of course, he had in Spain.
Yeah, to correct you there, he had 4 retirements out of the 6 races. So for Hockenheim he had that failure. In Spain he got Kamehameha, I would say, by Felix Sonntag on lap 1. And there are also many mechanical failures, so hopefully he can turn his luck around here.
We will see, of course. Meanwhile, as Martinez did in fact improve, but he's still down in last position. The only person so far over 2 seconds behind Kirishima De Rosa. Meanwhile, David Kupok improved to go up into 4th position. The man who's on form, it's fair to say, this season. Definitely having a much better season than what he had last season, where he was constantly having a lot of bad luck. But he's definitely turned a corner so far this season. And Kupok, and you could say Chatfield as well, definitely delivering the points for AlphaTauri this season. And both of them doing a very, very good job for the team. and definitely working very well for them as well. One team that'll be hoping the Christmas break works out well for them, you'd have to say, is Red Bull, of course. Still yet to get a victory this season, our Red Bull, and you would think that they'd be the ones challenging Mercedes a lot, but throughout the last few races, they've been mainly fighting with the likes of Racing Points and Renaults, it's fair to say, and that's definitely something that Gal and Franco Gamba will want to try and rectify here at Monaco, of course. And no response from Dennis there. So
I had screen freeze.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Franco Gamba,
my internet
speaking of a
bit of
well, speaking of a Red Bull, Franco Gamba is down in 19th,
no.
definitely being affected by the traffic today. It's fair to say, and so not going well for Franco so far. I don't think that is a true reflection of his pace. I think it's just more the characteristic of this track when it comes to traffic, of course. So I was saying though, Dennis, about Red Bull, of course. We were expecting them to be the team that you would expect to be challenging Mercedes, and they'll be hoping that the winter break serves them well, because throughout so far this season they've been battling with the likes of Racing Points and Renaults, which is not exactly where they want to be.
Yeah, definitely what they want, where they don't want to be. It's very disappointing so far for them. Only let me check. I think it was only 2 podiums so far this season. It only were 3rd places, so if they want to be clear second, they need to really push from here. Because I don't see them catching Mercedes.
Yeah, it seems that Mercedes so far this season are in a class of their own, and going into this, if I'm not mistaken, I think Red Bull are 1 point ahead of Racing Point, if I'm not mistaken, in that little battle for second that's going on. Renault are kind of slipping away a little bit, but they can still kind of gain that one back. And speaking of Franco Gamba, he is getting stuck by the traffic, hence why he is currently down in 19th behind the guy who's currently ahead of on the timing table, Dudu Kirby at this point in time. Dudu, I think it has been equal on pace to Daniel Fraser this season, it's fair to say, but I would say out of the two who's been the most unluckiest, you'd have to say Dudu, because he's had a lot of the mechanical problems, it's fair to say, with that house, especially at Portugal, it's fair to say. And Daniel, I think it's fair to say at times he has been quick. It's fair to say Daniel has, but at times he has shown a little bit of raggedness. It's fair to say, and maybe something he'll be hoping to put to the back of his head and hope to rectify here from Monaco onwards. Of course, as we go into this final 15 races, this stretch of 15 races before we head off into the fantasy era, of course. And a lot of interesting times. Andre Verderi, meanwhile, has got up into 6th position as Roland Motrin doesn't improve, remains in P5 at this point in time. And meanwhile, Juan Lawerno is getting held up by, I believe that is Verderi in front. So at the moment, this is what the leaderboard currently looks like with just over 15 minutes to go. Is De Rosa at the top with Chung in 2nd, Carr in 3rd, then Cupot 4th, Motrin 5th, Verderi 6th, Chatfield 7th, Rokin 8th, Fraser 9th, and Byrne completing the top 10 at this point in time. As we ride on board with Dudu Kirby, who goes around the casino square at this point in time.
There was a bit of a held up because of one guy exiting the pits, I think.
Yeah, that was Felix Sontag who was just coming out of the pits there. It definitely interfered in both Fraser and I think that might be Miklos Gal's business. I think it was a white helmet I just saw in the Red Bull there, so I think that might be
because Gamba was held up by the other half of Kirby.
Meanwhile, Joseph Willows gets himself into the top 10, getting in front of Evan Byrne, but still behind Daniel Fraser, who's so far having a pretty good session, especially with all the traffic that's going around at this point in time. Roland Motrin now then goes through through Raskas now then, the old Raskas I should say. Maybe for the last time we'll see this old version because of the new version that we're trialling out, hopefully in the future, but we will see as Motrin now then comes across the line. Well, okay, then it wouldn't have got rid of that part of the track. But anyway, moving on. And
a bit newer, but not very
so
much new.
Not so much new. It's just some parts have been opened out, but others haven't. It's just the
Yeah.
profile of the corners have just kind of remained the same, really. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're looking at Laura Chung, currently in second place, but she's coming into the pits this lap. 300ths off of Kirishima DeRosa at this point in time. Well, I say that because George Roke has now gone to the top of the timing sheet. But the last time he did go to the top of the timing sheet, he ended up crashing at Casino. Hopefully this time, for his sake, that doesn't happen. So, he goes on a 1 minute 12.477 now, does George Roke in the Racing Point, a 10th clear of Kirishima DeRosa. His teammate Roland Motrin, meanwhile, reviewing, is just coming into the pits this lap. And Motrin, a pretty good season for him so far, it must be said. Obviously, the first 2 races, I should say 3 races, didn't go according to plan for him, but he has been on a roll of good form as Roland Motrin and looking to keep that up here at Monaco. But still, that elusive first win is currently holding him at the moment, it's fair to say, Dennis.
Yeah, of course. He was so close to get this on 2 occasions. Once in China, where he got taken out by that car of Durakovi, which had a failure and bounced back onto the track. Then, of course, in Hockenheim, we still finished in second, but got passed by his teammate George Roke on the penultimate lap, I think. As Lopez improves to go to P6. Yeah, so far it's a great season for Roland, of course.
Yeah, it is indeed, and be looking to see if he can continue that momentum going into this, of course, after this winter break. Dudu Kirby coming back into the pits this lap with just over 12 minutes to go. Lopez is, as Dennis mentioned there, going up into 6th position ahead of Roland Motrin. Not sure if he had traffic in front or whether that is genuine.
Kubok was second.
Maybe that is something to keep an eye on in qualifying. This Q-Pot goes into 2nd position, 4,000 ahead of Kirishima DeRosa at this point in time. So the AlphaTauri getting up into P2 at this stage. As Kirby now makes his way towards the back, getting the car in, and then into the swimming pool complex, the swimming pool chicane, bus stop chicane I should say, because in the middle of that part there is a swimming pool actually. That's why it's called La Piscine actually. As now into Raskas now then, the Titan Raskas through the left and then into the right-hander we will go. Obviously that's there because of the fact that, of course, when we had the current version of Monaco, there was problems with the pit entrance when it came to the AI. So that's why we've got this corner instead, because it does counteract that problem. So we now look at Martinez now then, who makes his way through Raskas, as now Kirishima DeRosa crosses the line, does not improve, and remains where he is at this point in time. And currently got Juan Loreno stuck behind him at the moment, and Lopez is stuck behind traffic, but whether it was there when he did that lap, I'm not 100% sure, and I believe that was Lopez in front because it was a purple helmet. So that's that really, as DeRosa now then makes his way out of the casino complex. DeRosa coming back into the pits this lap, and Chung has just gone back out onto the racetrack. Garber, meanwhile, 18 thousandths up on Roke in the first sector there, but can he keep that up? I'm not sure, because he has got Roke's teammate in front of him. Whether he's getting a nice bit of slipstream or whether he's going to get held up by him, I'm not sure, but he's still keeping on going. He's finding those little bits of time in the middle sector, so maybe Garber could get himself to the top of the timing sheet as he now makes his way towards the back. And now into La Piscine now, then we go. Getting as close to those walls as possible to try and gain as much time as he can. This is where he could lose a lot of time, of course. I mean, he's not up by much on Roke in that second sector, and he needs to be worried he doesn't get held up by Roland at all. Let's keep an eye on the time tower on the left-hand side there. Does he go top? Across the line he will soon go, and he does. And now so does Carr. So does Carr now. Carr goes 4 ticks quicker than Franco. He does a 1 minute 12.017, so we are getting close now to the 1 minute 11s now then. So Franco Garber goes second, and now Carr goes to the top. Carr obviously probably getting a healthy dose of slipstream from Franco Garber on that occasion. So, now going down the straight, and Rosetta Martinez didn't improve on that lap, and Rosetta is coming back into the pitch. Under 10 minutes to go then in this session. Hello Florian, and should I change live chat settings to subscribers only? It's a consideration. Maybe that might be the only way to stop bots from getting in, but maybe we'll probably have to have a conversation about that. Who knows, really? But yeah, so comes Franco Garber now then, who makes his way through to back and then into the swimming pool complex, and he's not going up and he's coming back into the pits this lap anyway. So So really, Car at the top of the time sheets at the moment. The man who's of course won the last 2 Monaco Grand Prix, looking to make it 3 in a row this season and try and continue to reduce the gap between himself and Franco Lopez in the Drivers' Championship. As Rosetta Martinez coming back into the pits this lap, and of course the final leg for Manor, it's safe to say, before they pull out these last 15 races. They want to obviously try and go out with a bang. So far, they don't find themselves last in the Constructors' Championship so far, which is a bit of a surprise, as Chung was getting it all a bit wrong there, I think, and she was up on a personal best in the middle sector, as we saw on the left-hand side. Byrne actually went up into 7th position. Let's take a look at this from Laura Chung's perspective, because she was up personal best. Let's have a look at what happened here. So she goes around the right-hander, pretty simple, and then the second part, yeah, just gets a little bit of oversteer there, and that is going to cost her a lot of time indeed. And how much time she would have gained, I'm not sure, because so far she finds herself in 6th position, 6/10 behind Armar Carr, and it wasn't close to the wall, so he was able to correct it just in time before it swerved to the side of the wall there. But anyway, Chung now then makes her way through Anthony Nodes now then, making her way down the straight, and Chung will cross the line. Can she still improve regardless, though? And no, she can't. Nope. She lost a lot of time because of that mistake. So she remains in 6th position, but she will try again to see if she can gain some time, but she's got to be where she needs to be careful not to get held up by the 2 cars in front of her. As we ride on board with Daniel Fraser, who'll be heading back into the pits this lap. And hello, Rob, who's just joined us in the chat. And now we look at Daniel Fraser, who's just going around the Grand Hotel hairpin through the right-hander, and then into Portier he will go. And now down through the tunnel, through the right-hander we go, as now Fraser will make his way down towards the seafront chicane. As we now look at Chris Chatfield now, then he just comes out of the last chicane now then. Down the straight he will go, and Chris Chatfield is going to cross the line. I don't think he's going to improve, and no, he's not. Remains where he's at the moment, nearly clipping the Red Bull there. That one to please Helmut Marko. Excuse me, that one to please Helmut Marko if that were to happen. And it's Franco Gamba again, getting behind traffic. Franco very unlucky with traffic, it's fair to say, but at least he was able to find a break in that traffic to get up into 2nd position a little bit earlier. Still got Armar Carr behind him though, so those 2 are still pedaling around the track at this point in time. As Chatfield now then currently still down on his personal best at the moment. In fact, way off his personal best in the first sector, nearly half a second down on his personal best there, with just over 7 minutes to go. And as now making his way down towards the chicane is Roberto Gamba. Meanwhile, the other Gamba has just gone up into 2nd position in the Ferrari. So 2-3 at the moment for the Gambas. Roberto Gamba up into 2nd position for the Ferrari, and we were still wondering what sort of pace Laura Chung might have, because she did make a mistake on her previous lap, unless she's now given up on a fast lap that time by. I'm not sure, because she's still down in 7th position. She's right on board with Kirishima De Rosa, the man, of course, who got his first podium here 2 seasons ago. Now, just to make clear, because I didn't mention this, the tyres we are using, because this news did come out a little bit late due to the very clogged up schedule that Yuri had. The tyres we're using is the medium tyres here at Monaco. So just thought I would mention that, as De Rosa is way down on his personal best in the first sector. It's not like he's getting held up by the Manor in front, because that Manor is quite a bit of a distance in front of the Polish driver, so maybe he's not going for a push lap at this point in time, or maybe he's just trying to gather mileage for the McLaren team. It's been a bit of a shaky season so far for McLaren, it's fair to say, Dennis, for various reasons. But De Rosa did have a very good race last time out in Spain to get it to 5th position, making the free-stop strategy work to perfection. But McLaren really need to get some big points on the board if they want to be fighting with Racing Point, Renault, and you could say to an extent, maybe, well, not to an extent, I should say, let me rephrase that, Racing Point, Renault, AlphaTauri, maybe to an extent Ferrari, maybe even Red Bull as well, who knows really.
Yeah, it's been a difficult start to the season, of course, but there was hope after De Rosa's incredible performance from P19 to P5. Yeah, there is hope. Hopefully both drivers can do good here, and of course after here. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And Laura Chung questioning here, did Yuri qualify for the long distance throw? Well, I don't know whether Yuri has any intentions to enter the Olympics, but I mean, there could be an opening there for Team Finland, who knows? But anyway, Laura Chung does improve now, speaking of which. She goes up into 5th position. Was that all that she could give on the lap before she made that mistake? Who knows, really? As her teammate, Roberta Gama, getting held up by one of the Hasses there. I was talking so long, I didn't even know which Hass it was. I wasn't even looking at the graphic. So, anyway, we now look at Rosetta Martinez through La Piscine we go. As 4.5 minutes to go in this session. As now into Raskas now then. Flicking the car in, trying to get as close to the wall as possible. Got Joseph Willows behind him at this point in time. Willows currently down in 14th position at the moment. And in fact, no, that wasn't Willows, that was De Rosa. In fact, we were looking at De Rosa there. Willows did improve, but remains in 14th. But Martinez also improved, but stays in 22nd. Sontag goes up to 18th with his time there. 18th and 19th so far for the two Williams drivers. As I thought that was a lock-up there for Dudu Kirby, but that was my eyes playing up there. It wasn't a lock-up at all. That was just the way the sun was reflecting onto the track there. Made it look like a lock-up from what I was looking at anyway. As Kirby now then, 88 thousandths off of his personal best in the second sector there. As now going through to back. And so now in through the tunnel we go. And welcome back from maths class, Jafari. And Martinez not 1/10 up on his personal best, so he's continuing to find some more lap time, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get him out of last position, looking at the gap between himself and Dudu Kirby and how much time he's found so far in the middle sector. And now through into La Piscine, then we'll go the Filipino. Now in towards Raskas now, then through the left and then in through the right-hander. As we now ride on board with Dudu Kirby. We talk about how this could be a big opportunity for the midfield teams. Could even be a big opportunity for the lower teams to try and get some points here, especially the 3 teams so far who are yet to score a point this season. Those being Haas, Manor, and of course Williams. So a big opportunity for them, you'd have to say, Dennis.
Yeah, of course, big opportunity for all 3 of them. Of course, we all know Monaco, one of the races where we could have many retirements into crashes. And if something big happens and many cars retiring, then the opportunity is there. Also with the strategy, with some guys from the midfield that are stuck behind, those guys,
exactly right,
they could have a chance.
Especially what we saw 2 seasons ago with Kira, where he was able to make the one-stop work and get his first ever podium. As a result. Hasn't yet got a podium since though, Kira has. He'll be looking to correct that if he can and maybe try and get his second podium at some point this season. As Jamie Griffiths wasn't able to improve that time by, as we've got just over 2 minutes to go. We're closing in towards the end of the practice session and we'll be starting qualifying in around about a few minutes time. So be aware of that as Kirby goes out of the first corner there then. As he makes his way up the hill towards the casino square now then. Flicking it in through the left-hander. And now through the right, as he's got his teammate behind him as well, and one of the racing points, as they are on there, either the penultimate or final lap. It all depends really on if they get the pit symbol on top. As Lopez now goes fastest, so it's now a Mercedes 1-2, and he's broken into the 1 minute 11, so 1 minute 11.841 for Franco Lopez. It is now a Mercedes 1-2, Lopez ahead of Armar Carr. So we're finally starting to see the pace of the Mercedes start to come into an effect here at Monaco after various amounts of traffic they were involved in. Obviously, that's going to be something to keep an eye on in qualifying, given they haven't got much time in qualifying to get it right, to be fair. So, it's really that, really. Laura Chung back in the pits. That's her session done with, and it looks like a pretty good session for Laura Chung and for her teammate as well, Roberto Gamba, who finds himself in 3rd position. We ride on board with Jamie Griffiths now then. He makes his way down the pit straight, or more of a pit curve, I should say, because it's not really a straight, is it? Neither he or Gow were able to improve that time by, as Kirby now then through Raskas he goes through Anthony Nodes, so he will now make his way down the pit straight now then. Kirby now then across the line he will go, currently in 21st and stays 21st, and Fraser stays with this. Fraser coming back into the pit, so his session is done with. Willows goes back in, his session is done with as well. As we now look at Martinez, through Raskas he goes in the manor, now through Anthony Nodes now then, flicking it in, getting as close to that curb on the outside as possible. Down the pitch straight goes the Filipino, and Martinez will now across the line, and he does not improve. Amarcar across the line now then, does not improve by over 2 seconds. Looks like the Mercedes are holding each other up, because Lopez wasn't able to improve that time by either, nor was the Red Bull. I think, in fact, the Red Bull was just about to start lap. Byrne doesn't improve. Here comes his teammate, Jake Galloway. He's up on his personal best. Can he improve? Across the line goes the Chinese GP winner, and he goes only 15th. Motrin improves to go up into 9th position, as here comes Chris Chatfield with just over 10 seconds to go. Across the line will go Chris Chatfield, currently in 12th, and remains in 12th for the moment. Gabriel Gomez across the line has got a yellow flag, and it's a huge crash for Franco Gamba and Amarcar. And another one for Evan Byrne, in fact. So who was the last across the line, in fact? We're going to have to check in a bit who was the last across the line, because we've got a huge crash at the end of this session. And, well, might have to cut to a bit of a...
One of the biggest crashes here.
Session involving Franco Gamba, Amarcar, and Evan Byrne. So a big pile up there. Franco Gamba obviously was involved in a crash here last season as well, but that was not caused by him. That was caused by Loa Chung last season, if I'm not mistaken. So that's that really.
Let's see what happens.
Take a replay of that. And so it was actually started by Amarcar, in fact.
Did the work. And Lopez also lost his front wing.
Lopez lost his front wing, apparently, as there was where Byrne and Franco Gamba obviously had there. So, like with Loa Chung last season, Gamba was just a passenger for today, and Byrne was as well. And yep, Lopez lost his front wing, and we hoping that doesn't happen like it did last season as well to him again this season. And you can see we're going to have a slow-mo replay here. You can see Carr making that little mistake there. He'll obviously climb into the T car for qualifying, but that's not the way he wanted to end his session, that's for sure. And then Lopez, of course, losing his front wing in the process there. And because of all of that, we don't really know who was the last to cross the line, because the checkered flag came out whilst we were looking at this accident that happened. So maybe we'll have to check on that when we finish looking at replays here. Just like with George Roke a little bit earlier on, just a mistake from him. Gamba caught the debris and he clipped the wheel. In fact, he clipped there. A very spectacular one for Franco Gamba there. Kind of blocked half the track as a result. A little bit like Christian Albers did in real life back in 2005. And Byrne obviously collected some more debris there as well. And Galloway basically just had to push Franco Gamba out of the way just to clear the way, basically. As we get another look here at Franco Gamba. And we may notice it was the wheel that he clipped there. And I wonder if Byrne clipped Franco Gamba's wheel. That's what I'm wondering. As you can see just how dramatic the spin was there for poor Franco Gamba there. And he obviously climbed into the T car. Same for Evan Byrne as well. So no real worries for those three guys there. And of course Franco Lopez.
Yeah, there were many. Yeah, of course. Checkered flag.
I don't even know who was last anyway to cross the line, Yuri, to be fair. So maybe we could check on that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's that.
Let's have a look who was last to cross the line, because we had the checkered flag out whilst we were looking at that. Let's have a look. It wasn't Gomez. Was it Gomez who crossed the line last? Let's have a look. Gomez crossed the line there. Who was behind him? I believe it was Gomez. Gomez who was last across the line then. So Gomez is the last across the line, so we will keep an eye on that. So is that really? As Gomez is still on the lap as we speak. As
what I wanted to say is, on that point of the track, we saw a few crashes in the last few. That was, I think, one of the biggest here, with that many cars involved.
Yeah, indeed. Could that be a sign of things to come in the race? I'm not sure. Martinez didn't improve. Of course, we do have different mistake rates for each session, so maybe not, but we'll see. It's not like we've not seen a mistake there before, because we have, but it was 2 we had last season, if I'm not mistaken. It was just Chung and Gao last season, so maybe it could get up, maybe it could get reduced, maybe none will happen at all. We'll have to wait and see as everybody crosses the line. Of course, Galloway and Motrin got held up because they were held up in that little accident that happened in front of them. I say little accident, I should say big accident. Gomez, the last person, crosses the line and does not improve, and that's that then. So Franco Lopez tops the session from Carr in second and Roberto Gamba in third. So apart from that accident, Dennis, what did you make of that session?
Yeah, it was an interesting session, of course, with that driver searching that lap to preparing the qualifying for not getting in any traffic. For some, it worked, but not for everyone. look at Miklos Girl in what was it, P16. But yeah, qualifying will be very exciting with the same goal for everyone to keep a lap, to get a lap without any traffic. Around here it will be very difficult and very fun indeed.
Indeed, definitely. Well, that has been it for practice. We're just going to go off the air briefly, and then we'll come back with a fresh stream for qualifying. But for the moment, I've been GW97, he's been Dennis Graff, and we'll see you in just a little bit for the qualifying session here at Monaco. See you in a little bit.